Whoa!
Wow!
Anish!
Hey, welcome,
Wow.
welcome.
Hey, welcome to what?
Welcome.
Welcome everybody to ATCHAT. We know you miss us a lot.
That's right.
Shout out to our most faithful supporter out there, Yue.
Yes.
She never misses an episode.
Never misses an episode.
It really makes us feel so worth doing this, Ganesh?
That's right. Also,
Yes.
shout out to Elson, who is the
Elson.
first to arrive.
Wow.
Yes, usually I think it's Yue, but today.
Elson beat her,
Yes.
And then, Ikit was also there.
Ikit.
Wow.
Wow. All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to ATCHAT. Awesome.
Yes.
Today we want to talk about forgiveness.
Wow. It's a big topic.
Yes.
Big topic. Very deep. Yeah.
Yeah. Forgiveness. I don't know. What do you have to say if I give you just make your famous quote or statement on forgiveness? Pastor Andy, do you have any?
Me, famous quote. Okay, it's not mine but I heard someone say forgiveness is like taking poison, hoping the other person will die.
Wait, let me try to understand that. I'm reading that right now. Forgiveness is taking poison,
hoping the other person dies. So let's say you offend me.
Okay.
Sorry, not forgiveness, unforgiveness. Oh my gosh.
Oh,
Well, now I know why you're confused. Unforgiveness is taking poison and hoping the other person dies.
Okay. Yeah, now it makes more sense.
Ayo,
Yeah,
sorry
so to talk about forgiveness, we also kind of have to talk about unforgiveness and all that lah. But cool. And so we have two people with us, both from ex-teens.
Right.
One is a teenager herself, and another
Yes.
one of our faithful facilitator, small group coordinator or whatnot, right?
Yeah.
So we want to talk about forgiveness, and we know that they actually have very good stories.
Yes.
Yes, but just before I introduce them, right, I want to let everyone watching right now, like Yue and Iki and whoever, if you're watching, you will also be able to see a QR code on the top left of the screen, which will lead you to a Slido. All right, just type in hashtag forgive, and you can share with us some of your confessions, or share with us some forgiving or forgiveness statement that you want to do to whoever, right? You can do it as an anonymous, and we will read it out for you. Okay?
Yep.
Just in case you don't want to do it in person and all that, well, this is probably the second best option. Okay, so
Great.
panel. Pastor Andy, why don't you introduce our panel for today?
Okay, so first things first, they're both young people. Sometimes we think young people got nothing to forgive because they haven't lived long enough for people to offend them, but it's not true. Everybody gets offended, everybody gets hurt, everybody gets wronged, but we thought tonight we want to hear from the perspective of two young persons. Okay. Because I don't think we normally get to hear from young people about forgiveness, right? Normally we hear older people, because they live a long life, so many people offend them and all that. But tonight, I think it'll be interesting, very, very interesting to hear from two young people. First up, ladies first, right? So we'll invite the younger of the two. And she's been on ATCHAT before, but today she's going to share with us about forgiveness. And this young girl is actually Arielle Wang. Arielle.
Hi.
Welcome, Arielle.
Wow.
Thank you so much for joining us. Yeah. Wow, you look fresh, Arielle. Look like you had a lot of sleep.
Look like you have a lot of energy.
You got a lot of energy today.
Wow.
Awesome. Yeah, the shelves, the cabinets on your left, is it your left? On my screen is on your right. That looks like your energy level, right? It looks like those. How many bars of energy left? Wow, it looks like this is 7 bars of energy.
Arielle, I have a very important question that I want to ask you. Have I ever offended you?
All the time.
Yes, God.
Sorry.
Oh, yo. Serious?
Oh gosh.
Yeah. Remember the time for chicken cook, and it was my birthday, but you kept calling me for the cookies orders, and I was in this Zoom call party, my friends, but then I had to balance both calls. So you kept calling me.
Okay, the next question we have to ask: have you forgiven Kanish?
Okay, small thing. Okay.
Small thing. Oh, Kanish is a small thing, is it?
Oh wow.
Oh.
Kanish is or Kanish has. Hey, be careful, alright, okay.
Okay,
Hey, but that's quite
now Kanish is
interesting,
to forgive
because
me.
these are things that I really don't know about, and so you are the one who is hurting lah, not me. But thanks for telling me that I've offended you. Please forgive me, and thanks for forgiving me. All right, that's actually quite a good example. All right, who's the second one, Pastor Andy?
Second one will be a guy, and he's got a great story. In fact, later on we'll get to watch his story. Hint, hint. If you know what that means. But he's here to also. Okay, I'll tell you now. Okay, later we'll be watching a video of Jayden's story, story of forgiveness. But we thought it'd be good to have him here live to add more, I guess, details or more meat, or maybe even talk about like what has happened after the video. Okay, so please put your hands together if you can, whatever that means online, and welcome Jayden Thien.
Hello.
Wow, hey, look like you're in heaven, man. Everything's glowing over there.
So bright.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes.
When you learn to
Right.
forgive, everything will be white lah.
Okay, so Jayden, just now Kanish asked Arielle, let me ask you now, have I ever offended you?
For me, it's not really easy for someone to really offend me. It takes
Wow.
a lot of work, so no, not really.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Jayden has learned the art of beating around the bush.
Yes. Well, technically you didn't, but you know.
But pastor, as a pastor, I think it's very difficult to live your life without offending anyone lah.
That's right. Even Jesus offended people, you know. So how can I, as a pastor, or even anyone, expect to live life offending nobody? I think it's an impossibility lah.
Difficult,
And that is
yes.
why today's topic is so important, because
Yes.
you will get offended. There's no such thing as you won't get offended, you
Yes.
won't get hurt, or you won't get wrong. Somewhere along the way it will happen. If it has never happened to you, I don't think you're human. And so I think while it's a deep topic, very big topic, very different from our normal usual topics in exchange chat, but I think it's very important that we address this, right?
Yes.
Ganesh, yeah.
Yes. So let's start with giving a premise lah, right? Let's talk about
Yes.
forgiveness. So yeah, that's the offense part of it. But I think today we want to focus on the forgiveness part of it.
That's right.
So Arielle and Jayden, whoever wants to go first, right? What is forgiveness to you specifically?
Drinking poison. No, go ahead.
Maybe Jayden, do you have any thoughts?
I guess for me, forgiveness is, in a way, it's a act of letting go what someone has done to you or said to you, something that basically they did to you that hurts you or you hope that you're offended by It's basically letting go and like basically telling them that I forgive you for what you have done. Basically letting go so that you can proceed and basically like move forward instead of dwelling on this thing. Yeah.
Right. So letting go and not holding that person sort of like responsible anymore for the wrong they did to you. That's forgiveness to you, right?
Yeah.
Okay. How about you, Arielle? What is forgiveness to you?
I think forgiveness is setting yourself and the other person free out of love for both yourself and the person who wronged you.
Wow. Setting the other person and also yourself free, right? Free from whatever, I guess, weight or chains that comes along with the offense or unforgiveness. Okay. Wow, Ganesh, we have two very brilliant people here.
Yes.
I can't even explain forgiveness. I even got it wrong just now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Drinking the wrong poison. Cool.
Yeah.
Those are their version of forgiveness. But sometimes, like I relate with you when you say that it's very difficult to understand forgiveness, and probably what might help is to put a scenario to it, right? To understand through examples. And right now we're gonna watch a video on Jayden sharing his experience, right, and his story on forgiveness and the things that he had to go through, things that he had to say to someone who is very dear to him. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed the video, and we can come back and talk about it just in a bit. So, organizers, if the video is ready, roll it.
Nice.
Hi, my name is Jayden. I'm about to share about my story about forgiveness. When I was young, I grew up in a very hostile environment where I had a very abusive father who would come back now again drunk, and he would be beating my mom, my brother and everyone. Once he would hit us using a belt all the way to a rotten chair, but then eventually my mom said it was enough and we decided to leave him. But by then the damage has already been done, and my brother was already scarred by his actions. After years passed, I still felt resentment towards him. I had hatred towards him. Me and my brother, we do not see eye to eye in many things, but one thing we did see eye to eye was that we wanted to take revenge for what he did to us. It was one of the night services when I was standing there worshipping, when one of the adult leaders came up to me and told me that he wanted to pray for me. And when he prayed for me, he gave me this verse about forgiveness. It's basically saying that we must forgive others. If not, God should not forgive us for what we have done. And at that moment, I basically fell to my knees and basically forgave my dad for what he has done. And from then on, I felt a great relief inside of me. The anger inside me isn't there anymore. I don't have much of a relationship with him. At this point now, he's just someone that's another person to me. I feel no resentment for him or anything. I would not have the feelings of anger compared to last time. If he were to see this video today, I'll say, I forgive you for all that you've done to me. But I also would like to say that it is not by my own strength that I was able to forgive you. It was also by the strength of my God, who helped me through this, and in the scriptures he has written that I was able to forgive him.
Right. Wow.
That's really deep, huh? But Pastor, what is this whole true story about? Like, is it a series?
Yeah. It's sort of a series in X Teens. The full name, it's called X Teens True Stories, and there's different versions and different types of true stories. We know that everybody has a story, and everybody's story is different, but every story is precious. Some stories, or rather, sometimes when we share stories, especially in church, we hear all the beautiful, successful ones only, and that can actually give people an impression that, wow, that makes church feel like it's only for perfect people. It's only for people whose prayers are answered all the time. But actually, that's not true, right? A lot of us, sometimes we pray, but God doesn't always answer the way we want him to, or maybe things don't happen as fast as we like. So, but all of the experiences are valid. All of our experiences are true. It doesn't mean God is not with us. He is with us through the pain and through the difficulties. So we thought in X Teens, we wanted to, let's also highlight not just the mountains, but also the valleys. Let's not just highlight only the highs, but also the lows, because that's real life. I think Jayden's story, or Jayden's video, is one of the first ones, one of the first true stories that we were able to put out. So that's what true stories are about, telling young people stories, and all kinds of stories. And so that's what it's about.
Wow, nice. And Jayden was 16 when Jayden, you shared that story, right? When you were 16. You can't lie, I saw it on the video.
Yeah.
All right, so we got a good snapshot, or a teaser, or rather a part of your story, a 2 minutes story about you forgiving your father. Maybe share a little bit and bring us through a little bit about your journey. And probably in more detail so that everyone watching, you know, they get exclusivity to your story today.
Yeah.
Jayden.
All right. Well, as like the video stated, this happened when I was quite young. It was like what, like basically from when I was child to about 7 years old. Yeah. So this was happening well then, and when this happened, well, basically after a while we left him at when I was at 7 years old. We left him finally, but even though we left him, there was this deep hatred towards him, like in the video. I think they mentioned that me and my brother, we don't really see eye to eye in many things. Like we tend to also hate each other. We don't mix at all. But one thing we agreed on like last time was like we hated him. We in some cases we actually even wanted him dead. So yeah, it was that bad. We didn't like him at all. And one of the other things that this entire thing caused was that because we held such hatred towards him, that towards all his actions, we didn't just, in a way, we didn't just we did not just take it as an offense from him, but we took it as an offense from his race in a way. Yeah. So instead of like looking towards like this being something that only he did, the pain is only from him, we as like our family and our other part of our family, we started to look at his, I guess, race as we looked at it in a negative sense that we
generalize them lah.
we generalized them lah. So basically we looked at him and back then it felt like for us it felt like everything that he did to us is something that they will also do.
Okay.
Even though it was the action of one person instead of only the action of one person lah. Yeah.
Jayden, sorry to cut you off there, but to give a bit of context, I think maybe it would be good for our viewers to know that you are like sort of a mixed parentage, right? So your parents are from two different races, right? So your dad is of one race, your mom is one race, and you were saying that because of what your dad did to your family, you have this view over his particular race, and you kind of like generalize everyone from that race is like him. They all do this. They all like that, right? Okay. That's much clearer now.
Yep. So because of that, for quite a long years, for the time that I was growing up, for quite a while before I came back to church, that was how we viewed it. We had this deep hatred towards them, and it was not a good thing because it was in a way holding us back. It was not good because that person is no longer in our life, and yet he is still such a major part of our lives also. Like he's not there, but inside our mind we still held such deep hatred for him, such just wanting in a way revenge for what he has done to us when we were young. And it took quite a while to forgive him finally. I think it was, if I'm not mistaken, it was actually in an ex-teens camp, but I'm not sure how many years ago I finally forgive him for his actions. But that's about it, because since then, we never seen him or anything since we left him So
So what gave you the strength to forgive? You mentioned like maybe the turning point was that ex-teens camp you attended. So something happened there. Maybe I don't know, something was switched on or switched off, either way. But so what was the turning point? What made you or gave you the strength to forgive your dad after so many years of not forgiving him?
I guess I'm because I cannot exactly remember what was shared that time. But one of the things that really made me want to forgive was actually a Bible verse that came from, I think it was Mark chapter 11, verse 25 to 26. Yeah, I think that basically was mentioning about how we should forgive those who have offended us, and if we don't, then God shall also not forgive us for our sins, basically. So that really made me open up. It's like, why do I let him have this power over me, and why do I let him still basically have my sins in a way, whereas forgiving him and forgetting about it is better, so that I'll be more free and not be chained in this mindset, per se.
I have a question. But
Yep.
I would like to ask from a third party point of view. So this question
Okay.
is from Arielle. So
All right.
Arielle, as someone who, yeah, you have listened to Jayden's story and all that, right? You've listened to what his dad has done to him and all that. Do you think that it's actually fair for Jayden to forgive his dad? Like he Jayden got verbal abuse, he got abused, and he got whacked, and the rotan and everything. Of course, Jayden had his journey, right? But from a third party point of view, do you think it's fair that Jayden had to forgive his dad?
In all honesty, I'm not a bad person, but I don't think that he deserved it.
Okay.
But cause there's like so much stuff that he did to you. From like third party hearing all that.
What does our viewers think? Our 12,000, 13,000 viewers. Do you think it's fair? Do you think it's not fair? Maybe you can put in the comments. If you think it's fair, you can say yes. If you don't think it's fair, you can say no. If you want to share more than that, you can say why you think it's fair or why you think it's unfair. Please go ahead and share in the comments, and if we see something we want to pick up from there and discuss, we will do that. But yeah, please do let us know what you think. How about Arielle? We've heard from Jayden. Do you have a situation, if you don't mind sharing, where you found it hard to forgive?
To forgive. There are like a lot of all these moments that I journaled or something. But the most recent one was a friend. Like last year, when I was talking to one of my friends, then I found out that another person that we both knew was gossiping about me for like quite a while already. And if this person was like a stranger, like someone that I don't know, or like someone that I don't trust, then it wouldn't matter that much to me. But then this person was someone that I thought I could trust, and I was like starting to get close with him. So yeah, like it was at night somehow. So and I was like, and I heard of it, and I was like quite upset because, in all honesty, there were times that I felt the temptation to gossip about him also. Those moments like when you think of people, then you're like, oh, this person, how can you do this? Then you suddenly feel like telling someone, but you stop yourself because it's gossip. And yeah, there were so many times that happened. But every time I stop myself because the consequences will be it won't be worth it. And so I was doing that for him. Like I didn't gossip about him, even though I felt like it sometimes. But he couldn't do that for me, and like it's also, I felt like it was also very cowardly. Like if you have something to say, you tell it to my face, or like give constructive criticism. Like you don't tell behind my back and expect me to like know that you feel this way. And yeah, so I was quite hurt about that. And it's not the first time that this happened with the person. Oh, yeah, but this year I texted him because because this year I think he's in a he's better mentally. I didn't want to tell him last year because it would be like a very big burden to someone that is not mentally okay. I mean, as in like they are not in a very good mental state. And yeah, so I told him, and I told him, actually I found out last year that you gossip about me, and then I said, I think I've forgiven you I've forgiven you already, but I still think that you owe me an apology lah if you want to continue to be friends. And then he apologized, and I think it was quite sincere, judging by the words that he said. And why is Jayden looking skeptical? And
He's thinking if he's the guy.
and then he also mentioned that he's trying to change because people have been like complaining about him. And although I don't know, I cannot confirm whether that's true or anything because I'm not super close to him. What do I want to say?
How do you feel about it now after speaking to him? Like, are y'all still talking to each other, friends?
Oh yeah, we're friends.
Okay.
We're friends.
So is the trust built back, or do you still have reservation?
I think trust to me is earned, and
Okay.
it's not like I wouldn't like tell him like a secret for now lah.
Okay. So definitely
we're
there's a form of brokenness in trust line, although you have forgiven him, right? Okay. Cool.
Yeah, so let's go back to the whole fair question, right? And then we'll come back to this. So it does look like there's a conflict, right? Like
Yeah.
even from what Arielle has shared, like I know the right thing to do is to forgive, but that doesn't mean I will feel the same way about him. So there's this conflict going on, and I guess Jayden was probably also implying the same thing. Like, yeah, I think, why hold on to unforgiveness? I'm also in pain, and I get robbed of what I should be getting from God is forgiveness. So why don't I just forgive him? But it doesn't make it less painful, and I guess go back to the word we used just now, fair lah, right? And our 14 million viewers have responded. You got people saying, you got Kenji or someone calling Pastor Kenji. Wow. Oh no, that's a prophecy.
We got Pastor watching our channel now.
Yeah, awesome, man. He said, I don't think it's fair to forgive his father. He later explained, although it's justified for Jayden to be angry at his dad, it's powerful when Jayden chose to do it even when his father didn't deserve it. So it's not fair, but not doing it just because it's fair. You're doing it because it's right, right?
Yeah.
And Yue say, yeah, she thinks it's fair. Kezia says, I don't think it's fair either. So we've got different people saying, different things, fair, not fair. It's not I guess it's not such a black and white thing, Kanesh. Can be a bit gray sometimes, because there's feelings involved.
Yeah. I'm trying to resonate with what you mentioned earlier. Sometimes it's not about being fair or not fair. It's about doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And forgiveness, sometimes I like to think it's not so much about the other person, but it's about us as the forgiver ourselves.
Yeah.
And
Actually, if our God goes by fairness, right, I don't think we will make it. Because it's not fair to forgive us. We are such horrible beings, So I don't think God is a fair God. God is a just God.
Wow, controversial, huh?
He does what is right, and what is right may not always be fair.
Yeah.
And what is fair may not always be right.
That's good. Thanks for sharing, Pastor.
Is that right?
Yes. That's fair. That's fair.
That's fair. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. I think among us, the most fair one is Arielle.
Yeah, I mean, I got.
If you know, you know.
I got a red light also. I'm not as fast.
Okay.
Maybe I don't know. Okay.
Okay.
So I caught something when Arielle was sharing her story and her testimony. I was doing a comparison of how Jayden forgive his father as compared to how Arielle forgive her friend, right? And Jayden, correct me if I'm wrong, that when you forgive your father, it's a decision that you made. It's a conscious decision you make to yourself that you want to forgive your father, but you did not actually speak to him, right? Or did you?
No, we did not. There's not been any contact with him since. Yeah.
Correct. So that's where I'm trying to get at. So there's one situation where Jayden is trying to say, I forgive my father, although I did not tell him or I did not speak to him. And then there's the Arielle situation where she confronted this guy that so-called gossip about her. Is there a right or a wrong way to approach or ask for forgiveness or to forgive people, Pastor Andy? Or maybe even the viewers, what do you think about this? Is there a right or wrong way or any particular formula to forgive and stuff? Yeah.
Can I clarify something though?
Yes.
Like what? Like from my own, I confronted him, even though I forgive him really because I still wanted the friendship. Like I think it'll be a different thing if it's like we're not friends, just forgive and whatever lah, don't talk already. But I think like in friendships you have to talk about things like this. You have to have difficult conversations. You cannot just pretend it never happened and talk like normal, and because there's so many things that is not said yet. To me that was important to confront.
Wow.
Okay. So you've confronted this person and you have reconciled with this person. That's what you're saying? You have reconciled with this person?
Yeah, but it wasn't like my way of forgiving. It's not like say sorry first, then only forgive.
Right.
It was for the friendship.
Okay.
Wow, we just opened up a whole topic about reconciliation. It's like forgiveness doesn't mean reconciliation, is it, Pastor?
Yeah, because I mean, there's two different very, very contrasting examples here. Both
Yeah.
Arielle and Kanesh.
Right.
Both Arielle and
Jayden.
Jayden is offended because I call him Kanesh. Jayden and Arielle, they both have been offended. They both have forgiveness and unforgiveness stories, right? But we've got Arielle here who confronted, actually spoke to the person and reconciled, and then we've got Jayden here who like, yes, I'm forgiven, but I'm still not talking to him. I don't have a relationship with my father. Even if he appear in front of, I think he said in the video, right? If he appear in front of me now also, I don't know what I'll say to him. I got nothing to say to him, basically. So
I'm not even sure if I know how he look like.
he doesn't even know what he looks like. Okay,
Okay.
As you can hear it, you heard it from the man himself. So, but does it make Jayden's forgiveness any less real or less genuine or less effective than Arielle's forgiveness of a friend? I don't think so, right? I think forgiveness doesn't depend on reconciliation. I think like you don't have to have reconciliation, then only you can forgive. It's not a prerequisite. I guess that's what I'm saying. You can forgive before the reconciliation. Reconciliation may or may not happen after you forgive. Because I think if we are going by the word of God as Christians, God only commands us to forgive. He does ask us to reconcile with people.
Right.
But the Bible does say, as much as you possibly can, make peace. I think even God knows that it's impossible to make peace with certain people. It's not possible. So he made room for that. The Bible makes room for us to possibly have people in our lives that we just cannot see eye to eye and cannot reconcile. But God did not make any room for unforgiveness.
Right.
No matter what, we have to forgive. So I think, Kanesh, I don't know whether that's your question, but it is possible to forgive without the reconciliation.
Oh, that's very good. Yes. Thanks for sharing, Pastor. Okay, we have another video
Alright.
of another teen who is who's going to share about her story on forgiveness. But just some information to our viewers. Remember that you can also ask questions to any of our panel in regards to forgiveness/unforgiveness. Or you can use the Slido QR code on the top left of your screen. If you would like to share your confession of forgiveness or unforgiveness, you can do it anonymously and we will help read it out for you. Okay, so next up we have Rebecca Cheong's video, and this is shot right after Extins Camp 2020. So those of you who know Rebecca, do encourage her, but this is how her story looked like. Organizer, take it away.
Rebecca, I'm 14 years old this year. Last year, I had a friend whom I was really close to. And as I was eating lunch with her one of the days, she did something I didn't like, and it made me feel that I wasn't important to her. I stopped talking to her, but she didn't know why I suddenly ghosted her. I hated the fact that she didn't know what she did wrong that made me feel less important to her. She apologized a few times after that, even though she didn't know what she did wrong. But I didn't want to forgive her. I was filled with anger. I didn't want to go to camp because she is going also. I thought I didn't want to see her face. I didn't want my parents to know that I suddenly don't want to go. So I just went and just not see her face and ignore her totally and just hang out with my friends. So on the second day of camp, I was suddenly wondering why, like when will I ever be able to say sorry to her. And on the third day of camp, I felt a little sick, and I went at the back of the hall and rested there. Suddenly I felt the need to look at what the others are doing during worship, and I saw everybody kneeling down, surrendering themselves to God. That made me feel really touched. I suddenly felt that my burdens became lighter, and I had just enough confidence to walk up to her and apologize. And that's what I did. I walked up to her, I started pouring out, hugged her and apologized. I felt relieved and happy at the same time. Like, forgiving is not easy. I always thought that forgiving is just saying sorry and forgetting it. But after this experience, it was really hard for me, and I will actually never forget this.
Oh, that's Rebecca
Wow.
Cheong. Yes, also from X-Teens.
Yeah.
Seem like we're seeing a pattern here, right?
Yeah.
Those who join us for X-Teens camp, they have been set free. They learn to forgive.
Yes.
Yes, usually X-Teens camp, I mean, at least the past two has been happening sometime around March, right? And now it's March and we don't have X-Teens camp. Oof.
Ganesh, actually, Rebecca's story is very powerful.
Yes.
It was very real. And that's why I like the whole X-Teens 2 story series. It's always very real. Things that actually we all go through, but sometimes not everyone talks about it. So I'm glad that some of these teens have, God has given them courage to come out and share and talk about the things that they go through. But something Rebecca mentioned near the end, right? She shared the whole experience already, and she said something about like, oh, I always thought that forgiveness is like just saying sorry and then just forget it, right? Forget. So there's this whole concept of forgetting.
Yeah, forgive and forget, right?
Forgive and forget.
Yeah.
So it sounds good lah.
Yeah.
F and F, forgive and forget. But can it really happen? Can you really, like, does forgiving mean forgetting the whole thing also? Like, oh, I forgive you, and suddenly I got no memory of what you did to me. From Jayden's story, it doesn't sound like it. I don't know. But what do y'all think? What do you think, Arielle, Jayden? Like, is forgetting a necessary part of forgiving? And if you cannot forget, does it mean you haven't forgiven? Loading.
I mean,
Jayden, you go.
okay. Forgetting. I mean, in a way, I don't think like you have to like forget everything, because in a way it's still going to be there. It's not really that easy to just forget about something that just happened. But I think when it says forget, it's more like saying like forget like your like I guess the intent behind it. Like because like previously when you remember about it, you have hatred and so on. Where the forget now is more like, okay, forget about the hatred, everything. It's just a memory, something that happened, something that is with you, but you have no feelings for it, no negative feelings for it. Yeah.
What do our
So
audience think? Oh, sorry. You carry on, Jayden.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, I'm basically that, but yeah, that's
Yeah.
basically my answer. So basically, if you can forget, but it's like not forget it completely. It's more like forget like the feelings and so on about it,
Right.
lah. Yeah.
Okay. So so in other words, you don't have to completely forget the incident or what happened in order
Mm-hmm.
to forgive. It is possible to forgive and still have some memory of it. Okay. But you're
Yeah.
saying that if you really have forgiven the person, you will forget some parts of it, like maybe the feeling of it. You don't feel as painful as it was before, or maybe you
Mm.
forget about certain details because they don't matter anymore. I guess that's what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I started to cut you off just now, but I was thinking of involving our 18 million viewers,
Wow.
and hear from them as well as we did
Yeah.
just now. Maybe y'all can type into the comment. What do y'all think about this whole concept of forgetting in forgiving? Like, is it necessary to forget in order to forgive, or is it possible to really forget what has happened to you when you forgive? Maybe y'all can share. Is it possible? Is it necessary? Forgetting in and forgiving. But while our audience are typing, Arielle, you want to share your perspective?
Oh, okay. I agree with Jayden. And yeah, it's not, I don't think it's totally necessary to forget. They only counted as like genuinely forgive, because I think they're two separate things. Like forgetting, I think you can, after you forgive first, then forgetting is, whether you can forget or not is up to whether you have 100% healed or like recovered from the incident. Like from my experience, sometimes when I'm left alone and everything is silent and I only listen to my own thoughts, and all these like memories of, I guess, even close friends, or like all these different memories will pop out, and sometimes I will like think back on, oh, this person did this to me in the past, and like it's still a very clear memory in my head, but it doesn't mean that I hate them. It doesn't mean that I don't forgive them. It's just that I kind of still remember it. And sometimes I think I do still remember the emotions that I felt in that present moment. But I would say that I forgive lah. I think I do forgive, but it's just for some reason I still remember it. And I haven't like fully, I guess, recovered from that. But nonetheless, like I still love like the friend, I still love the person, and I wouldn't say that I dislike them.
Pastor,
As you were sharing, Arielle.
yeah,
Yeah?
sometimes the whole forgive and forget thing, right? Sometimes it comes from the form of the other person, the second person. So it's like for example, like if I wrong you, right, Pastor, and then I come to you, and I say things like, oh, can you forgive me? Can you just forgive and forget everything? So we reset, right? And then it almost seemed like I'm giving you a term, or I'm giving you like if you forgive me means you must also forget.
Yeah.
Yeah, to
Uh,
so-called maintain our friendship or to maintain our trust, that kind of thing. Like, just
yeah.
forget it lah, don't talk about it anymore, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Two things that come to mind. I think as you said that, I think forgiving is a choice you can make. You can choose to forgive. You can choose not to forgive. It's a choice. You are in control of that. Actually, forgiving.
Mm.
But forgetting, you're not in control. It's like it's like, actually our brains, some bit of science here, our brains is created by this brilliant God. And actually, right, our brains don't forget. We never forget. Whatever is stored in our brain is there for forever, so to speak, unless some damage happen, right? It's just that when we forget, it just means that that memory is suppressed, or like, it's stored somewhere deeper that you're not so easily accessible. But you actually never forget. So it's not really by choice whether you can forget or not. Forgiving you can choose. Forgetting is not it's not choice. You need other factors to help you forget, whether it's natural or supernatural. But another thing I want to say is that as Arielle was sharing, I got this mental picture, It's kind of like okay, my hand here, I'm not sure whether you all can see. There's a scar here. When I was younger, and it's like it just missed the vein. If a little bit more, right, I don't know what will happen to me. But anyway, this is a scar. I don't feel the pain anymore. All right, it's healed. It's completely healed. There's no pain, nothing, right? But this scar will always be there, and I'll always remember what happened. The story I just told you. Well, I didn't tell you the story how I got this, but I was a kid playing hide and seek. I was hiding under a sewing machine, and suddenly the person who was looking for me found me. I out of shock, I jumped out and I fell, and I landed on my window. So my hand went through the window and the glass cut me, right? Woo! So it was so deep you can see the bones. There was a wound. I had to sew it up. There was blood and all that. And it was a wound that needed time to heal. And now that it's healed, there's no more pain. But I'll never forget the story. And the scar reminds me what happened. But it doesn't affect me anymore. Right? There's no pain. There is no, for a while there was trauma. I was very afraid when I see glass and when I go near windows. But now, no trauma. But I'll always remember. So I think maybe it's something like that. It's like, forgiveness is when you know it's no longer a wound. It's no longer a wound. You are healed. But the scar tends to remain there to remind you what happened. And when you look at it, you actually, it's a good thing. You remember the bad that happened, but also the forgiveness that happened and the healing that has happened. So it can actually be a good thing to so-called remember. I don't know. So it's a whole wound and scar concept lah.
Right.
Yeah. I know Jayden disappeared for a while.
Wow, thanks for sharing, Pastor Andy.
Yeah.
We have some thoughts here from the YouTube chat box. And Kenji made some remark. He said, I realize that I've forgiven when I no longer associate the person with the things that hurt me. When I'm angry, every time I see the person, I remember what he or she did to me. When I forgive, I see the person and don't have that kind of feelings. Wow, the power of forgiveness. And then somewhere at the bottom,
Joanne Tan shared that being able to look back on it and talk about it without resentment is part of the process of forgiving. That's good, huh?
Yes. Very good.
Something like the scar. You look at the scar, you know what happened, but you don't feel the pain anymore and you're not affected by it anymore. And I think that's a sign of forgiveness, like you no longer feel the resentment or the need to revenge or get back or get even. Right?
Yep. So let's talk about the flip side of it. What happens if you don't forgive? Right? Yeah. And just before we cover that topic, let's take a look at another video. And this video is from Pastor Kenneth and taken from one of the Sunday messages recently. Also, we have studied this in homes. But for those of you viewing, it's a good refresher for you. So fix your eyes on the screen as the organizer play the video. Let's go.
Never stop forgiving.
永不停止原谅，
Never stop forgiving.
永不停止原谅。
Matthew 18:22.
马太福音第18章22节，
Let's read that.
我们一起来读。
Jesus said to him, I do not say to you up to 7 times, but up to 70 times 7.
耶稣说：“我对你说，不是到7次，乃是到70个7次。”
The question was, how many times should we forgive our brother?
问题就是我们到底要原谅我们的弟兄多少次？
How many times should we forgive our sister?
我们要原谅我们的姐妹到底多少次？
They thought it was 7 times.
他们以为只有7次，
7 times in a day.
在一天里面7次。
But Jesus says no,
可是耶稣说不对，
not just 7 times.
不只是7次。
Although you think it's already very generous.
尽管你觉得7次已经很慷慨了，
Jesus says 70 times 7.
耶稣说是要70个7次。
I think that's about 490
我
times.
觉得那大概就是490次吧，
That's a lot.
那很多耶。
But I don't think Jesus wanted us to do the equation.
可是我想呢，这个耶稣他应该不是要我们去这样记录，
It's not the number that counts.
重点不是这个数字，
It is the spirit behind it.
而是那背后的这个精神，
Never stop forgiving.
永不停止原谅。
Because forgiveness is not just about the other person.
因为原谅呢，重点呢不只是另外一个人，
Forgiveness is about you and me.
重点呢乃是你和我。
If we don't forgive,
如果我们不原谅的话，
if we hold offense in our hearts,
如果我们心里面呢埋藏着别人对我们的冒犯
if we
的话，
hold bitterness in our hearts,
如果我们心里面有苦毒的话，
we will suffer.
我们呢将会受苦，
Are you all still with me?
明白吗？
We are the ones that will be blocked from our blessing.
是我们啊收不到我们的祝福，
Because Jesus says, if you don't forgive your brother, I will not forgive
因
you.
为耶稣说，如果你不原谅你的弟兄的话，那我也不会原谅你。
So the forgiveness begins with us.
所以那原谅的起点是我们。
You think that by not forgiving, you're putting your brother in prison.
你可能想说，你不要原谅那个弟兄，你就会好像把那个弟兄关进那个牢里面一样。
Because you hate your brother so much, you want to put him in prison.
因为你很憎恨这个弟兄啊，你要把他关进牢里
So
面，
you refuse to forgive.
所以你就你
But
就不要原
the
谅。
truth of forgiveness is
可是这个原谅的真正的原则
that when you
是，
don't forgive,
就是当你不原谅的时
it
候，
is you who are in prison.
进监牢的是你，
Yeah, you are the one hurting.
对，受伤害的是你，
You are the one isolated.
被隔离的是你，
You are the one grumpy.
变得很暴躁的是你，
And you will start making decisions
然后你就会开始做决定，
that are not good for you and your family.
是对你和你家人不好的，
You will start making
你
excuses.
就会开始有各种各样的借口，
Something will die inside of you.
你内心里面就有某些部分会死掉。
That's why the Bible says
这就是为什么圣经
the
说，
devil does not come
这个魔鬼来到呢，
but to steal, kill, and destroy.
他来到就是要来偷窃、要毁坏、要宰杀。
How does the devil steal, kill, and destroy?
你看这个魔鬼到底是怎么样来偷窃和宰杀和杀害的
Through
呢？
offense and unforgiveness.
就是透过这个冒犯和不原谅。
Now I know that forgiveness is a choice.
那我知道原不原谅人呢是你的选择，
So I'm asking all of you to exercise that
所以
choice.
今天早上我是要你呢去做这个选
It's
择
a，choice of your will.
是你自己呢有凭意志
It does
去
not go by
选择，
feelings.
不是靠感觉的，
It does not go by feelings.
不是靠感觉。
I know some of you have been hurt so badly.
我知道当中有人你受了很大的伤害，
There's no strength in you to do this.
你觉得你没有力量去做到这
No
一点，
strength in you to forgive.
你内心没有力量去原
But
谅。
that's where we need God.
你看，就是我们这样子才需要神
We
啊，
need His strength.
我们需要神的力量。
I said we need His strength.
我们需要神的力量。
Jesus knows what unforgiveness can do to us.
耶稣他知道不原谅会有什么后果，
It can bind us
他就会把我们捆绑住，
and block His blessing.
然后呢阻塞了，不让我们领受到神的祝福，
And instead of breakthrough, we only experience broken
而
hearts.
变成没有突破，只有破碎的心灵。
Forgiveness is a choice,
原谅呢是一个选择，
but it's not.
Wow.
Wow.
Ganesh.
Yes.
Good, huh?
Very good. Very good.
Yes.
The consequences of unforgiveness, right? Actually, it's
Yeah.
only it comes back to yourself, lah.
Yeah.
And I remember the story where when we first started ATCHAT, like just now at 8 o'clock, we remember when I asked Arielle if I've ever offended her. Actually, I have no clue, you know. And Arielle on one end having the unforgiveness, having the spite, right? Like, Kanish, why? And if she has never ever forgiven me, right? I guess it's true lah. She's the one who is in prison, and the consequences of unforgiveness. So really, forgiveness is to release you from the prison, because I'm the guy who wronged her, but I don't even feel a thing, right? That's what I got from there. Of course, I use Arielle as example there. We also have Yue sharing her story on YouTube. So Yue said, thanks for sharing your story, Yue. If you can just allow me to read this. You said that this happened around last year October, where your friend did a prank on you, right? And you were angry, and you didn't really want to forgive that friend. But after a short while, you did decide to forgive her, and then you felt like it was too late. Okay, so because you felt it was too late, you also decide to leave her alone, and then suddenly CMCO happened. After that, you came together and school started, and you realized that she didn't really want to talk to you anymore. So that's what you always said, right? So sometimes the consequences of unforgiveness is also to lose the people around you, and things like that. So that's what I get from uh, this. Oh, she added, praise the Lord, just a few weeks ago, she decided to talk to, Yue's friend decided to talk to Yue again. And now they are together, all close and cheering each other on no matter what's going on. Amen. So forgiveness brings people together. Thank
That's
you for
good.
sharing, Yue. Yes.
Yeah. How about some closing thoughts from our guests today? Uh, yeah. What do you have any last words? Any closing things you want to say about forgiveness?
Ariel, deep
Not,
in thoughts.
Was this the toughest question of the night? Yeah, and we haven't received any questions from our audience today. Maybe there's no question because all the questions have been answered already so far through the sharing of Ariel and Jayden. But yeah, we've got 3 minutes left. Maybe yeah, you have anything you'd like to say or any message you want to send to those out there, all our 40 million viewers.
Uh, I think sometimes what helps me in forgiving, like if it's something that the person did a very long time ago, I guess remembering that um people are not who people now is not who they were. Like people change, and yeah, like for instance, if they are like gossips in the past, it doesn't necessarily mean that now they still do it. And yeah, so that helps me when like I hesitate in forgiving because I keep remembering like 1 year ago this person did. And I like to believe that people are capable of change even if it takes time. Yeah.
Right, it will.
Rajin.
How about Jayden?
for me, yeah. Oh my. Wow, I actually don't know what to say. For me, I guess usually when it comes to forgiveness, when it comes, in a way, it hurt. Yeah, like Pastor mentioned about the whole poison thing. It hurts you more than it hurts the other person, because you're the one who's feeling it, and you're the one holding on to it, and you're the one who is going to be mentally and physically affected by it, not the other person, because it will, depending on situation, the person might not even know they have offended someone, like Ganesha's situation, or yeah, or they are someone that, yeah, basically they don't feel what we feel when we are not forgiving them, because in the end of the day, it's your own mental health and all that's going to be affected if you continue to hold on to this thing. And yeah, so yeah, basically that's why I think it's important to forgive, because if you don't, it's just going to be affecting you more than it's going to affect the other person. And yeah, that's my advice.
Great. Thank you so much, Jayden and Ariel, for being with us tonight. I think I've learned a lot from hearing your stories. And yeah, forgiveness. I think after all we've heard today, it's still not an easy thing to do, right? Not an easy thing to do at all, but it's still a choice. So it's actually in our power to be able to make that choice, even though it's hard. I think Pastor Ken said, forgiving is a choice, but it's not an option. If you don't forgive, there are consequences to you, the one who's supposed to forgive. Not sometimes the other person don't even know that they hurt you, right? So like what Jayden said, yeah, it's true. It affects you more than it affects the person who offended you. And I think God knew that. That's why God command us to forgive, right? In fact, I think there are more scriptures in the Bible to ask us to forgive than there are scriptures asking us to go and say sorry and ask for forgiveness. I don't think there's many, right? Anywhere that mentions asking for forgiveness is more of us, us to God, right? Yeah, Ganesh, you got anything to say?
Nope. Except that this is the end of XT's chat today.
Yeah.
And I'd like to thank all our 15,000 viewers watching us right now. And of course, since you are our viewers, we would like to give you some exclusive information. Well, not really exclusive lah, but yeah. X-Teens Chat is honored to be part of X-Teens conference, which will be done online. And the conference is going to happen end of March, which is the 26th to the 27th of March. So do sign up for the conference. It is a 1.5 day event, which starts from a Friday night and then leading on to Saturday. Our slot is on Saturday morning. And even if you want to be part of being with us in X-Teens Chat just for that Saturday morning, you still have to sign up for the conference. So the sign up link is shown on the screen. We'll be talking and covering on the topic of the title is called Who Am I? So we'll cover things like your purpose on earth. We'll cover things like if you feel useless and you feel so beaten up, so give up, and you've asked the questions such as what on earth am I doing on earth? Or why am I being born? God, why are you doing this to me? Why is it so unfair? Why is my life so upside down? If you have been asking these kind of questions, then we hope to help you out or answer these questions at the conference in X-Teens Chat. So do sign up and we will see you there.
Yes, hope to see you at the conference. I think, Anish, this is our very first X-Teens conference, yeah?
It is.
It's history making in two ways. It's our very first conference and our very first online conference. So that's amazing.
That's right, yes.
And you can see a little guy behind me.
Very excited, Zion?
Hello, Zion. Say hi to everybody.
Zion, say hi. All right.
X-Teens Chat.
Everybody say hi to Zion. Okay, that's all we have for you today. Thank you once again for tuning in. Thank you, Jayden and Arielle, and also Pastor Andy. We hope to see you in our next X-Teens Chat. All right, so follow us on all social medias. I will see you during our next show. Bye-bye.
Bye.